lecturer here at the School of Mathematics and Statistics here at UNSW. I started my studies in Denmark and didn't quite know what I wanted to do when I started, which might be similar to you. I don't know.
When did you start taking an interest in maths?
I grew up a nerd with two nerdy parents, and yeah, I've always been interested in sort of relatively good at mathematics, but yeah, I'm not as superb. You might well be better than me, but I've always been interested in nerdy things. When I started uni, it was to discover the world, or the secrets of the world, so stuff like philosophy, and I thought that was too hand-wavy, so what about physics? You see the foundation of the world, and then I found out, well, I'm okay at physics, but I'm much better at math, and it's much more fun, so it sort of drifted.
What is your field of interest?
Yeah, well, I love anything to do with combinatorics, discrete math, graph theory, and anything like that. How many combinations of outfits could you have? So it's about counting. But then, of course, some of the outfits might not be very pretty, so there are some restrictions. And then you have to make things a bit more complicated and count in better ways.
What do you think are the best aspects of your job?
Not having to just eat rice with rice. And for my part at least, I see mathematics, well, my own mathematics, the stuff that I do as, it's probably useful, and I love it when it can be used for something. I go for short, elegant proofs rather than 100-page technical, hardcore proofs. I like to cut to the simplicity of it, the elegance of it, which, if you look at my papers, you won't be able to see because it's a mess, but that's my aim at least.
What do you think are the worst parts of your job?
If you want a lot of money, then you'll choose something else. You continue on from being a student, and the guilt never goes away. And I should have done more, I'm not doing enough, I'm too lazy. That continues, because being your own boss is actually pretty hard. There aren't a lot of bad things about my job. If you do the same job for a while, and there isn't any disaster, then you learn to relax. I mean, the research has inherently some uncertainty to it. You have to find new things, and you have to put in a bit of effort. In fact, a lot of effort in mathematics, because it's a hard and deep and slow research area. So you never know. Will the gold mine run out? Of good ideas. It's sort of spread out and collaborate with a lot of people, and in the end, it's not too stressing.
So, what are your thoughts on publishing papers?
Well, it's getting quicker, but in general, in mathematics, it's very slow. Some of my projects have, lasted a decade. Epic struggles with your research, and you finally get some small results that and then you look at it and it's published and you're proud of it, but you don't know whether anyone will use it ever. And it's not fleeting. It stays. Maybe it won't stay 1,000 years. Maybe it won't even stay 100 years. But hopefully it will stay a couple of 100 years and help other results come along. I'm actually a journal editor, so now I sort of know the other side of it as well. I've had a paper being, actually a couple of times, the paper's been refereed for 1.5 years. And finally you get the report and it says, rejected.
So how many hours approximately do you spend doing your own research?
The workload is probably a bit more than it should be. Like my to-do list is 15 years old. So these are some of my projects. Except in most jobs, you just sit around drinking coffee. Oh, of course you don't. But you're checking your email and you go and do something else, and you don't actually do any actual real efficient work. I'm pretty happy these days with between 25 and 30 hours of real work. But it's a bit different. That's research and administration and teaching together. But the research is tough. Sometimes it's very fun, often. But sometimes, it's just tough in maths.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes can seem like 2 hours.
For your lectures, do you prepare much for them? Is it taxing, or do you just go in and enjoy it?
When I started lecturing, I think my first course was back in 2003, and I was super nervous, mumbling and stuttering and not being able to look at people. It was terrible. If I've had a course 5 times, then I don't need more than 5-10 minutes just to go over it. When it's the first time with a new course, I spend maybe per lecture probably possibly around about 10 or 12 hours.
What have your collaborations been like? So like you've been to a lot of places like Ansto?
I mean, most mathematicians work in collaborations, but it's often quite isolated. Academically, I've collaborated with people probably much more by email than in person. I'm used to working very informally with these co-authors and very efficiently. Like I send something to them and they work hard on it and send it back to me, and I work hard on it and it bounces back and forward. Industrial work or consulting for people where some company or whoever might out of the blue email me or contact me otherwise and say, we've got this problem and you're a mathematician, can you help us? It was a really valuable lesson that, you think that money enables you to do research. Well, in some areas it just puts the brakes on and stops it dead in its tracks. Get rid of them.
What kind of other mathematicians do you admire?
The students here are awesome. I mean, I've been in various places, various universities, and you're just great. It's your attitude is awesome. You're driven. You don't mind being nerdy. There's a synergy of nerdiness. Like I think the culture of mathematics is a little bit hero worshipping, and it's good for inspiration. But it's also I think it on the whole it's a bit destructive because it scares people and gives them the impression that they are not up to that sort of standard. So maybe they should just stay away. When you read about Euler, for instance, you just say, wow, that's crazy. So I've also met a lot of mathematicians who are very cool at what they do and totally fail at their life. And they might be nice people or maybe not, but they don't have any life beyond the mathematics necessarily. I'm not really, I'm impressed by people, but they're just people.
Do you have any interests outside work?
Yeah, I've got a fair few interests and I don't have much time for them, unfortunately. Be spending a bit more time outdoors, playing computer games and reading books, watching TVs, seeing friends and hanging out with my kids.
What was your first year at uni like?
I was very, very tired and very, very drunk. It was good fun. And I didn't study at all as I should have. And this was back in Denmark. I don't regret having enjoyed them, but I wouldn't recommend it.
What do you see yourself doing in like 5 or 10 years?
People say I should seek promotion. Hopefully I'll have a bit more experience and have a decent addition to my pile of research.
So do you have any advice for undergraduate students like thinking about maths?
Don't be scared. You don't have to be a genius to succeed quite well. And it's worth just taking a step back and saying, well, even if you do fail miserably, it's not the end of the world. Mathematics has this aura of being, you have to be super clever to do it. But actually, that's not true. You just have to work hard and have some affinity for it. Is there going to be a job for me at the end? And the answer here in Sydney, but in particular at this school, is yeah, there is.
Thanks for enlightening us.
Thanks for the excellent questions.
It's really interesting having perspectives from real mathematicians. Some valuable advice. I think free thinking and critical things.
Thank you very much.